It's a brand new PU season. Don't look now, but Paul's pretty slim. Haven't tied the knot. Deuce got a dog. Fred's trying to find someone to mow his lawn, and Alex is just reading the stars. Alex is just reading the stars. We got a new host for pre and post game shows. Matt's in the booth making everything go. We're all pretty stoked about Vrabel and May, and everybody's still hating on Christian in LA. Hey, it's a brand new PU season. The past give us something to believe in. We're ready for 3 shows a week. It's been too long, and I hope I get a t-shirt for writing this song.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Patriots Unfiltered.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. The camera's on? Oh. I don't see a tally light. Our camera's on? There we go. Hey, all right. All right. What's going on?
Do you remember back in the old days when you would forget to put your mic on?
Oh, yeah. Put your mic on, Brad.
Yeah.
Put your mic on, Fred. Who was that kid?
Two gender.
Two gender.
Daniel, two gender.
He fit in well today. Anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. It is Wednesday.
First Wednesday show of the regular
It is
season.
Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're back to 3 days a week, in case you haven't noticed. It's Paul, it's Deuce, it's me. Evan will be by later because he's going to where?
Well,
Mike Vrabel.
I think he just did 2 hours of radio, and we all felt we'd save everybody from another 2 hours. No, I'm joking.
That's probably a better reason.
That's a great one.
He's gonna do a little Vrabel. We're gonna do the locker room. And
Well,
then
we're
he'll
going
be
to go to
back at the end
Vrabel
of
too
practice.
live
Yeah.
when he comes on.
Then I'll
So-
go to the locker room. He'll come in. He'll come in after practice. So I'll have a report. So there'll be some comings and goings.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement, a lot of moving stuff going on in today's show. But here we are talking about Week 1. We kicked it off yesterday, a lively show, very excited. Raiders coming to town, 1 o'clock tilt here at Gillette Stadium. Weather's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it looked a little gray. I checked the forecast.
Oh, now it's a little
doesn't
gray?
seem rainy, but
Oh,
it just seemed
I
overcast.
thought it was supposed to
the
be
last I
really
checked,
nice.
But perhaps wrong. You know New England, Paul. The weather changes.
Hey, if you don't
frequently.
like it, just wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Patriots still favored by about 2.5.
2.5 the last I checked.
Has
which
that moved at all from the beginning? Was it 3? Has it gone up?
I
Down?
do not know the answer to that question.
No.
Let's see. I mean, maybe today after you see some of the first injury report of the year, so perhaps that.
I think you
So-
lose that half point because Gonzo is a question.
I think
Could be.
you get 3.
Speaking of Gonzo,
Yes.
I started to think a little bit about Fred's sort of subterfuge, the ruse, if you will. What if we see him? Do you think there's a chance you see him on the practice field today? Like when we get the injury report at 4 o'clock or so, whenever it comes out, it says Christian Gonzalez limited.
Limited, yeah.
Do you think there's a chance of that?
Yes.
Well,
And if so,
okay.
would that be your subterfuge? Like the other way? Like we're not going to hold him out to make the Raiders think he's not playing.
We're going to have
We're
him
going to
there
have
for
him
warm-ups.
practicing a little bit so the media sees him to make the Raiders think he is playing.
Right.
I like that. Or
If
at least the possibility.
That's where the
of it.
subterfuge
Right.
comes in.
And
Fred's there, but
Yeah.
maybe on the other
Now,
side
if-
of it.
I would be more leaning to that if today wasn't a day in pads. They're going to be in pads. You really going through the motions if you make them dress in pads just to have the
Well, I
Raiders.
don't necessarily think they're going through the motions. I just don't think after missing 5 straight weeks of work, you can just walk out there and practice a couple of times and play.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could, but I find that unlikely.
Somebody in an email, and right now I'm trying to get to emails, but my computer doesn't work. The keyboard doesn't work, but we'll deal with that later. Don't worry, buddy.
What's
Alex
going on?
just looked up like one of those marmots.
Marmot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
marmots.
yeah,
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
Prairie
dogging.
dogging?
Nothing's working.
You know what?
Oh,
Hey, Beth, if you just keep hitting the buttons, maybe they'll start working.
You don't say that, actually, do you?
That
course
was
I
it.
do.
It was the keyboard. I knew it was.
Get a
All
death
right.
Wish.
Death wish.
Listen, I want to say this. This is based on nothing. I don't have any rumblings, and some people might be even mad that I'm even bringing it up. But what if, this is a contract thing?
Oh,
Like, what if
Gonzalez?
then neither side is saying anything about it because they're both being, good partners. But what if he's just like, you know what, I'm looking for an extension here.
Well, he can't get an
can he?
extension.
He can't.
No.
Second
Because
season.
in third year.
In his third year, he's got 2
They
complete.
have to be 3 years in.
So this is his third year, but it have to be after his third year.
Correct. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think you're
Maybe he's
your
workshopping
speculation
it.
is
He's
not
workshopping
wrong,
it
though.
for next year.
There's a line of thought that this is related to his contract, in that he's not going to get back out there. Not that he injured himself as part of some sort of elaborate contract negotiation, but the line of thought is that he's dealing with a bad hamstring and he's not going to get back on the field until he is 100% ready to get back on the field. With the thought being, I don't want to put anything less than my absolute best out there. A lot of people felt like Sauce Gardner did a little of this last year with the Jets. Didn't have as good a year last year because he was trying to make sure his focus was to make it through the season as healthy as he could to better his. Now, to me, that's kind of warped logic. I'm not going to play as well as I can because I want to cash in later in the year.
No, but he doesn't want to put anything on tape that would say
Right.
that,
Now,
hey, I'm not an all-pro.
It worked for him. It worked for Sauce Gardner. He got a big contract, despite, I would say, probably having the third best of his 3 seasons in the league. But I don't necessarily buy it with Gonzo, and I'll tell you why. Just think we've seen too much of him. He's traveling to 2 preseason trips that he didn't have to travel to. Like, seems like he's really on board, really part of the equation. That kind of sounds like to me an individual thing to do. Like, I'm going to protect myself here with my contract in mind, not necessarily on board with whatever the team's doing. I mean, I
Do you
suppose
think
you
this
could
is
do it
what
both
the
ways.
modern agent is, advising players on? I'm not talking about Gonz. I'm talking in general now.
I hope not, because it's stupid, and it's, I just ultimately think those things come back and bite you in the butt. You try to lay it out all perfectly of, well, I'm only going to go when I'm this, and ultimately you have to get ready for the season, and the important thing would be to be out there if you were able to. But to me, this reeks of a hamstring injury that seemed like it was minor at first, and it's lingered. And I think Paul's right to think we want to get back to 100% for both the team and for the player. But it's hard for me to see him trying to make a power play now when he really only has 1 season that he's actually played.
Yeah, it reeks to me of just a setback. He had to have had a setback. I think that's why it sort of changed, because everybody was really nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. And now all of a sudden, say the last week, 10 days, everybody's like, geez, I wonder if he's going to play in the opener.
Yeah. I think, though, Fred, to your point, I would maybe bet money he's going to be out there today, because why not? Like, at least you give him. Sorry, Paul.
That was my point.
But at least put the thought in their head, and even if you do make him strap on his shoulder pads for a minute, hopefully he's at the point where keep him on. Let's go do some conditioning after the media leaves, and we'll do your work that way. But because if he's not there today, then to me that's
he
he's
can't
not playing.
play.
He's not playing.
See, I don't think he's playing Sunday, but I do think there's a chance that he's out there today as just regular part of getting back into practice. He has to start practicing if he's ever going to get back on the field. You
In
can't
pads.
Just, Well, just in general.
Yeah.
Like what he has not practiced even in the walkthroughs, Fred. He
Yeah.
hasn't taken part in. And Mike, you might know the answer to this, Mike.
Yes.
We have seen him do some conditioning on the field, right in front of us.
He did it in Minnesota.
A little bit, but I got to be honest, I don't really remember it, to be honest.
I don't
really
either, but everybody
remember.
else is talking about it.
No, he was warming
wasn't
up
in
in
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
so.
He was out there doing doing
jogging
some
around and
running
stuff.
around and
Yeah,
and actually some sprints, and then you wonder if there's something happened there.
Well, that's what I think that there was some sort
Oh,
of
maybe.
setback.
Yeah, maybe that's where it was.
But I don't know when or how. But I felt like the way that Mike Vrabel answered the question on Monday, where he started to say, yeah, he's been out a little bit longer than we thought. But he stopped short of saying that. It's been, and then he kind of went in a different direction. I think he was kind of alluding to the fact that, there's been some bumps along the way in this rehab process. But I do think he's been rehabbing. I don't think this is, listen, I don't want to say it has nothing to do with contract, because let's face it, these guys, and they're right to do it. They have to take care of themselves. They're independent contractors.
Sure.
Right? So I don't want to say it has nothing to do with the contract, but I don't think he's not practicing at all because, well, I'm not going to practice until I'm 100%, because I have to worry about my contract. I don't think it's that blatant, and I really don't think that was what Sauce Gardner did last year either, although everybody says that.
Yeah, well, traditionally, like you said, if you're not here on Wednesday before the game, you're not playing. And speaking of traditions, football fans know that traditions matter, turning moments together into something truly epic. They're what inspire us to make our masa and Tostitos the traditional way. Starting with whole corn kernels, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, all to give you that perfect crunch. Discover your next tradition this football season. Head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan a code for a chance to win and score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, tradition matters.
Certainly does.
So
I enjoyed some Tostitos on Saturday while I was watching some college football
Chips,
all
yes.
by myself.
there's nothing better than
all by
than
myself
chips
in
and
my empty
salsa.
nest. I did. I had some Tostitos that I laid out on like a baking sheet.
You laid it out. Oh, and you got them
you warmed
extra
them up a
crispy.
little?
Put some shredded cheese on it.
Oh,
some
so you
salsa,
had nachos.
and I made nachos.
Oh, okay.
With my Tostitos.
Now, when you just have like cold Tostitos.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
With salsa. Do you
Salsa
get
or seltzer?
salsa?
Salsa.
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 Do you get regular, medium, or hot salsa?
I get the medium.
Medium.
I do. The hot is just a little too hot
Too
for
much.
me, but I do like I like a little
A
spice.
little kick.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like a little kick.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
That was your Tostitos Minute, brought to you by Fred Kirsch.
I did a chips thing. I went to the Mexican restaurant this weekend, and they bring chips to the table, and then you fill up on the chips. But I was also eyeing the nachos.
Where'd you
and
go?
I'm
In
like,
Añejo?
yeah.
Isn't that
Amazing.
great? In
It's-
Hyannis?
my
You went
wife
to the one in
loves it.
Hyannis? Yeah.
Living under the big tree.
So have you ever got their chowder?
No.
Their lobster bisque.
Really?
With a kick.
Next
So
time.
there's
Yeah.
Mexican.
Really? My wife grew
really
up in
good.
California, and she said this is the best Mexican food I've had in
Oh.
Massachusetts. So
Wow.
yeah, we
In
went back there.
Yeah. And Añejo's good. They have another one in Falmouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
was
is it
good,
called?
Añejo.
And yeah.
Anejo. The J is silent, much like our new lineman Jaimes.
Yeah. So anyway. All right.
So there.
So back to our discussion.
What'd you call me?
Back to our discussion. Yes, this will be the
Gonzo.
first day of practice. They're going to be in pads. Everybody's going to be taking attendance. I'm sure the tweets will be flying the moment practice starts, and who's there and who's not there.
I just was thinking of your scenario that you threw out yesterday, and like you like to say now, Fred. You and I, we have long commutes.
Yeah.
We have a lot to think about. Right? And I started thinking, I'm like, what if Fred's right? What if it's some sort of subterfuge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not necessarily the way we were talking about it yesterday. Maybe the opposite. Maybe they're going to get him out there to make the Raiders think he is going to play.
Right.
Right. Or
I do.
there's
I
a
mean,
possibility.
I would at least get him out there today and watch everybody go crazy and Gonzo's back. And even if the second they leave, he's down on the lower hill just jogging around, fine. But at least put the possibility in their minds.
Just so people know, practice can be audited by the league. So after every practice, every team has to come out with their participation report. It's not an injury report, it's a participation report.
Correct.
Did you fully participate? Did you partially participate? Or did you not practice? So the Patriots aren't going to be able to say, oh, he fully participated if when the media leaves, they send him to the other hill. So theoretically, that practice report that's going to come out today, first one of the season, will give us an indication, if he's out there, what level did he participate?
Yeah. I mean, I think he'd be limited no matter what, but also
too.
sets up for Friday. I mentioned it that Vrabel meets with us after practice. So if Gonzo's out there, he'll give us some kind of insight into what might be
So
possible.
for this show, though, I'm going to be talking about this game coming up as if he's not playing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to assume he's not playing.
I would
Yeah.
agree, Fred.
I think that's the way you
So
probably have to
anything
do
I
it.
say, oh, the Patriots have a chance to do this or that, I'm assuming that it doesn't include Gonzo.
Yeah, and I think it's not the worst week to not have your number one corner, but it's also just thinking about Bowers and maybe thinking about putting a corner on him. You're a little thinner. And
Listen,
everything gets knocked
It's a
down
passing
notch.
league.
And it's never good not to have your best player available.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a significant part of
For
the
sure.
team, but I would agree with you. Next week, you're going down to South Florida to play the Dolphins, and they have, when they're right, a quarterback who loves to use those two wide receivers. So not having him for that game to me would be far more damaging than not having him for the Raiders.
I do think that, and we touched on it yesterday, we have to consider Janty in the passing game.
Yeah.
And that's something that's a wild card.
Yeah.
We don't know how good he's going to be in the NFL in that role, but I think he's going to be good, personally.
I think it's a perfect week one kind of thing where just feed your, what is he, 5th overall pick? Feed this guy. I mean, I that's what I would do. I mean, I think the Patriots are probably going to maybe lean, I think they'll lean into the run generally speaking, but I think they'll maybe lean a little bit more into the run early on. Just get a feel for it. Hopefully they can hang on to the ball, of course, but I would feed Genty. I would use him to test everything that the Patriots are going to do. Screen game and, quick game.
Because Geno Smith isn't considered a mobile quarterback. He can run.
Yeah, he's still mobile. I think he's still athletic enough.
But, he's not Josh Allen. He's not,
No, he's not going to run by design. He's going to run as a scrambler. But
Sure.
I agree with Mike, and Mike and I both talked about this because we've already taped our various shows for the week.
We already had predictions.
But I agree with the mindset of both teams probably going to want to run the ball, and I was really interested because I would think that kind of lent itself to a, maybe low 20s kind of game at most. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to Greg Bedard yesterday, and he thinks it's going to be a shootout. He thinks it's going to be a really high-scoring game. He didn't give a score, so I don't know what he said high scoring with both offenses because he doesn't think much of the Raiders' defense, and he's a little concerned about what he's seen so far from the Patriots' defense. I'm sure Gonzalez's situation factors into that as well. I just can't imagine that Pete Carroll doesn't want to use his first round pick and lean on him like Mike just said. And I'm pretty sure that Josh McDaniels is going to want to do the same to help out this young offensive line, that is generally across the board are all considered better run blockers than pass blockers. Why wouldn't you want to try to establish the run? I'd be surprised if the teams didn't at least start the game conservatively.
Yeah.
Get prepared for the comparisons. Oh, the Patriots could have had Janty, and then they still could have had a left tackle.
I told you. I tried, guys. No, I'm happy with Will Campbell. The thing, though...
how come you're the only one allowed to have arguments before they happen?
That's already happened.
But when I do it...
You think I made that up? It's on one of your shows.
But you just said... But you literally just said, get ready for people to say Genty.
Yeah,
I don't...
They will.
Yeah.
He's the one to argue ahead of time. No, when I do it, I'm wrong.
He knows what's coming. The thing that was interesting to me, though, I talked to Paul a little bit about it, and we mentioned Patrick Graham, but he survived 2 regimes. He was Josh's defensive coordinator. That guy's got a pretty good beat on what Josh wants to do. I know. I think it was David Andrews just spoke to Andrew Callahan. I saw a clip of the podcast, and David Andrews said Tennessee gave them a lot of problems in 2018 when Vrabel beat the Patriots, and he said because he understood our protections, and David Andrews said that was kind of a nightmare game where we felt we were a little bit in the blender one of the few times with Brady, and so I wonder similar circumstances with Patrick Graham, who, he was Josh's defensive coordinator. He's been in that system there for 2 years now.
And if you could put Brady in a blender,
yeah, right. So he obviously has a very intimate understanding of Josh McDaniels and Josh McDaniels' offense. So I just wonder how much that's going to come into play. And we'll talk to Josh tomorrow. I think it's a good question to ask him a little bit about Patrick Graham and his influence on that defense. And, what's going on with the Raiders? Are they trying to do what Pete Carroll wants to do, or are they trying to do what Patrick Graham's kind of come up with the Patriots and game planning and that kind of stuff? So many more unknowns, I think,
and Pete Carroll is no slouch himself when it comes to defensive game planning. Yeah. That's how he made his name in the NFL with the 49ers and had one of the best defenses in the league with the Seahawks,
He sure did. Yeah, and I saw it with USC in the college game when he was, putting pros left and right out of that program. But, it's just a lot of interesting matchups, and there's always so many unknowns in week one. But when you have 2 new head coaches and, Chip Kelly back in the NFL, and there's just a lot of different things going on with all the different storylines.
Chip Kelly's a real X factor, too. I have no idea what to expect from him offensively at all. And I'm sure that the coaches are scrambling themselves. How much what they saw in the summer with the preseason games is an indication of what they're going to do. It's a new quarterback in a new system, and Chip Kelly hasn't even been in the NFL for a while. So there's a lot of unknown there. Remember Bill used to always talk about the unknowns of week one are always enormous because you never really know exactly what to expect. you add in the fact that Chip Kelly was in college last year. I don't know. All of the key guys that you're talking about basically are new. So I don't know how you have a beat on what they might be bringing.
Don't you got to believe that in the NFL, every team has somebody on the payroll who's attending their schedule opponents' practices in the summer?
I bet it happens a lot.
And they're not out there with binoculars or a notepad, but they're looking and they're just committing it to memory and then making a phone call when they're done. This is what I saw.
Yeah.
Don't you? Wouldn't you do that? I would.
Sure. Well,
I would.
especially practices like ours where you just walk right in, grab a seat.
All the
and take a
practices
look.
are like that. They're the only ones in the past that charge were the
Washington tried to, and then
they
they
tried,
realized
and then
by
they
doing that, you have to allow the scouts in.
Oh, because
Right.
you're paying.
right. So like anyone can walk into these practices, and I don't know, like Paul could walk in his blue shirt to the Raiders practice, and they don't know what he's doing. They think he's a fan.
But the flip side of it, if you were here, would you hire somebody to watch the stands and kind of audit what's going on in the stands? a little
like
bit
I
to see
said,
if
you're
you can
not sitting
find
there
one?
with binoculars and a notepad. I put him in a Raiders shirt, make him look like a fan.
Yeah.
And you're just watching with everyone else. But you're watching with a keen eye for what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And then you report back afterwards.
It's like a lot of these guys know
I
each
can't
other, though.
believe every team is not doing that.
Yeah. Good question.
You only have to look at, 8 opponents, right?
I mean, but definitely the ones that you don't.
How many? If you look at we played 3 teams twice, so that's 3, so 14 opponents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You only
You finally got there.
Yeah.
you only have to have
It's like somehow we only have 8 games. We play 17, but
No.
you don't have to worry about 8 of them.
But would you, if you were the Patriots, would you have to go to the Bills and Dolphins, or you already kind of know, and that seems an unnecessary risk?
Why not?
Yeah, everybody.
Why not?
I don't know. If you were here every day, what would you think the Raiders would have gleaned from being here every day?
Well,
What are
probably
the
more
Patriots
than
going to
us.
do?
I don't know. Probably more than we can tell. They
Yeah.
probably have.
They're looking at the stuff
know.
that we're not allowed to report, formations, things like that.
Yeah, I just would say we were there.
groupings, player groupings,
Yeah, I mean, I think-
situational groupings.
I just feel like you kind of know that stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, it's part of the question. I think it's. I mean, I don't know if it's worth. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the league telling them you can't do this? Is there an unwritten rule that
I'm
you
sure.
just don't
I'm
do
sure
it?
there's an unwritten rule that it's not good sportsmanship, but like I would do it, and I think every team should do it. I don't think that you should not do it.
I just would worry that everyone in the league knows each other, and to put someone onto this task, they would need to have a foundation of knowledge so they understand what they're seeing and what's important. So it's hard to find somebody that nobody knows, and just that chance that somebody on
Well, that's a good point.
our
I know
scouting
him.
staff
Right,
knows
right,
this
right.
guy works for the Colts up there. Like, Bobby,
that's
what
a
are you
good
doing
point.
here? You
That's a
know?
good point.
And he's got the the Mr. Magoo glasses on.
No,
or
you're
whatever.
right.
Like,
You have to have a certain level of knowledge, and if you have that certain level of knowledge, people might know you
Plus,
in the league.
I- My bigger point was I feel like for the most part, the game plan oriented stuff doesn't
You're not
happen in
gonna
training
see-
camp.
yeah.
It happens once the practices
You'd
are
have to
closed.
pick the
You're not
right
looking
couple
for what they're going to do
practices.
against us, but you're looking at, in third down and short, this is the grouping that they're using. And
Well, what about a joint practice? Which, I mean, is that a little bit more? You're seeing 2 teams maybe, and you're
Yeah.
not seeing game planning, but you are maybe seeing a
Everything.
little bit closer to what the reality is. I
Yeah.
get what Paul's saying though. That
Yeah, I'm not saying there's
The real
no
stuff
value
is
in it. I
gonna-
didn't poo-poo Fred's
Yeah.
theory. I think in order to really know what a team is going to do,
yeah.
I think that's behind closed doors. I don't think teams are doing exactly what they're going to do every. You know what I mean?
right,
I think
but
they're kind of hiding some of that stuff, knowing that the practices are open and that fans are videoing and putting them on Twitter and whatnot.
yeah, we'll get what we need from thanks to the fans that are putting illegal stuff up on the internet. But I don't know. I think that there probably are teams that do it though, because as we know,
Well, listen, this is
I
the
wouldn't be
competitive
surprised if teams are
people.
doing it. That's why I didn't poo-poo Fred's whole theory. I wouldn't be surprised if teams do it.
There's an old story about when the Raiders practiced. I forget whether it was L.A. or Oakland. Their practice field was surrounded by hills, and there were houses on the hills. And somebody was talking to Al Davis. Says, "Aren't you worried about like people being in those houses?" He goes, "I bought them. He bought the houses, so the Raiders owned them." You know,
Sounds like something Al Davis would do.
and even here, we've got the hotel. What's to stop somebody from getting, the highest room?
Yeah.
What's that?
Vrabel's here.
Oh, okay. Let's go to Vrabel.
This one's been recording for 7 minutes. I wonder if there's anything good on there. Yeah, mutter. What do you guys talk about in here before we get started?
Just you.
No, I doubt that.
Just complain. Mark was telling me about his 42 yesterday at Pinecrest.
Played well yesterday.
Love that. Beautiful. Take advantage of it. Teresa, or sorry, Karen.
Oh, man.
Well, it happens.
Flashback, right? Flashback. Are we expecting to have Christian out there? And if not, is it safe to say most likely won't be available?
Well, I wouldn't say that. He's continuing to work, and he'll do, some stuff on the side. But I'm not going to rule anybody out. Stacy just made an announcement about the injury report, so we'll continue to work and treat and make sure that we're doing everything that we can to help him, and he's doing everything he can to get back out on the field. That's the only update I have right now.
We won't see him today, or?
It didn't sound like it.
Will he continue to avoid the IR, or is that a possibility?
Oh, no, I just won't be out there today, Mark. Can't tell you much other than that.
How much does a guy like him need to practice before you feel comfortable putting him in a game?
It won't be today, so I apologize, but, that's where it'll be. I do like where he's at from an engagement standpoint. We've been through this with other players, and like where he's at from that standpoint. In the meetings, locked in, following along at practice, which is difficult to think that a player that's not in there can follow along. I've been through that as a player and a coach, and I think he's done a nice job of being able to do that.
I just want to ask one quick on that. Is it important for players to get to 100%? Is every player different? Because
every player. I don't use percentages, but again, I'll remind you what we talked about as far as when I try to make decisions about players and returning. One, can they make it worse? One, can they? Two, protect themselves. We can all say what we want about this game, but it's violent. And can you protect yourself? And can you do your job up to the standard that we expect and that the player is used to? So those are the things that I've tried to use when making decisions. Maybe I'll add some to that, but that's what I've tried to use in my other experience in this position.
Like the initial reports, and I know that didn't come from you, but the initial reports.
Yeah, please, guys. We have, this is the first Wednesday of the season, and he's not going to be at practice. And just please use your time as efficiently as we can about our team, about the Raiders. And I know Christian is a large part of our team, but he's not going to be out there today, so that's all I can update you with. Do you have anything else since I cut you off?
Yeah. Well, I got to write about the Raiders this week, so
Yeah.
I know week one is always tricky, but the fact that they bring in Gino, they have Ashton Genty.
Well, they had terrific young skill players. Brock Bowers plays like a wide receiver. He's a willing blocker. Genty, powerful, fast, continues to move his feet after contact, breaks a lot of tackles. Speed on the outside, savviness with Myers, big physical offensive line. So that'll be a challenge when you talk about that. Gino really does a nice job of taking care of the football, very good completion percentage, so he knows where he wants to go with football.
Mike, following that up a little bit, during the first week, how tough is it to get ready for an opponent with a first-year coach? Do you have to go back to what Pete has done with other teams?
Well, they have a first-year defensive coach with a coordinator that's been there and done stuff, and then they have a new offensive coordinator who's been in the NFL and has also come from The Ohio State University. And so that's a pretty unique, I think, blend of what we have to try to anticipate. We're not going to be – there's going to be numerous plays in the game that we won't have seen or we won't have run in practice in this preparation. That's how it goes. That's going to be like that every week. But just trying to get themes and concepts and ideas of what they may want to do defensively with Pat and Pete's style and scheme, and then what they may want to do from offensively from what Chip's done in the past in the NFL, from what he's done in college, and what Gino likes. Certainly, quarterbacks in this league, like things, and we'll get things at it. So I'm sure there'll be things that he's liked that they'll run from plays he liked in Seattle.
Yeah, ask about that overlap. It goes, Pat Graham has seen Josh Buchanan's offense a million times from being here. Patriots and Josh have also attacked Pete's defense in different ways, Super Bowls, playoff games, and Gus Bradley defense with the Chargers. Do you try and game out how they'll react to what you're doing, et cetera, or do you just...
Well, the one thing you don't want to be is too cute, certainly in week one or at any time, and think, well, they know and they think we're going to do this, so that we're going to do this. And I think we have to be really sound and use our rules. And if we see something that's new, we have to keep our composure and keep our poise and figure out ways to make it work.
Pete Carroll's named captain this season. What have you seen from him?
Did you say what person?
Marcus Jones.
Yes.
Just what did you see from him as a leader throughout this?
Well, really by example, just the way that his practice habits, his professionalism, I would say, and then his performance on the field and what he does and how he plays. So really like being around Marcus. I like the person who he is and the player that he is.
Mike, I know in Tennessee you would identify 3 to 4 things the team had to do before every game in order to win. These kind of keys to boil down. Have you done that already this week? And if so, is that something you'll share with us?
Yes, we have, and no, we won't. You don't want to get too convoluted and just try to make sure that the players are seeing it the same way as we do after all the film and things that we think are going to be important this week. And having been through it, it's not like I want them to memorize and have to look down. I want them to understand how their play and their position, what they can do to help us execute those keys. And so it's not just a blanket and broad statement. It's like, how does my job as a left guard or how does my job as a safety or a nickel help us execute these keys or what we're trying to get done on special teams.
Pete Carroll's known for his cover 3 defense, and then Chip Kelly's kind of known for his up-tempo offense. Is that still the case from your perspective, and are there any ways that those systems have evolved since the last time those guys were in the league?
Oh yeah, Pete's done it for a long time, and they have their adjustment. When you run something extensively or the majority of the time, you have to have answers, right? Because you know that people are going to try to scheme you, and you have to be able to have answers. They've evolved and done a great job and have answers and different ways to play things that they want to do. And then they have their change-ups and their mixers. And then certainly Chip's offense has expanded and grown. I mean, Chip used to call it on an index card. He had 7 plays, and they just were really good at them, and they went really fast. And so I think that's all evolved from the stuff at UCLA, from the stuff at Ohio State, to what he'll do with those skilled players that we mentioned with the Raiders.
Yesterday you said you wanted your team to win the second half.
Yeah.
How do you coach your players up to reach that expectation?
Well, I think conditioning. I think an emphasis. I think taking a break. And that's a good question. I appreciate that. And, we actually put a break in there at midway through practice where we have 2 team periods left. And I said, you guys are going to think this is some gimmick, but it's going to be me saying, hey, coaches, get together. Tell them, listen, this is what, this is how practice started, whatever's going on. Let's be conscious here to finish strong, win the second half. And, I think it's just a good reminder and working on our conditioning.
Mike, regarding the tempo and winning the second half, which Chip's offensive style being fast.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's as breakneck. Maybe it will be. We'll see. But I think it's a little different than probably what it was in Philadelphia. And if it isn't, we'll have to be ready for it. But go ahead.
Either way, it's the first full game these guys are going to play this year. So from a football conditioning standpoint,
everybody will have to play. I mean, everybody has to play every game and be ready to play. And, the ones that are in condition and are playing the way that we expect them to, we'll stay in there. And then when they're not, then they'll have to get a break and put the next guy in there like we've always done.
Mike, you have a plan for Morgan just throughout the spring and summer. Now, likely to have Max Crosby across from him for a majority of the game. How confident are you in that plan, him being ready to go and go for, if not the full game, it's a majority of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I think Mo's worked extremely hard and done exactly what we've asked him to do, and has been involved in a lot of their reps. Sorry, go ahead.
Now that you've had a full off season with him, I'm just curious, where has Drake May stood out most off the field to you?
Well, I think his command in the meetings, I think the reach to the locker room, the reach to the players, the stuff off the field, being engaged in that way and knowing how important that particular position is in all three phases on special teams and the impact that he can make as the quarterback.
Thanks.
Okay. That was Mike Vrabel live. So
I don't think we're going to get our little
we're not going to get any subterfuge.
No.
He came right out and said I'm practicing today, so he's not playing.
Yeah. I liked he was echoing some of our talk that we had earlier on the coaching staff and how
I
complicated it is.
sniffed in the middle of the press conference. Mike and I just gave ourselves a little hat tip to one another for all of our talk about all the newness.
Yeah.
And Chip Kelly and
The
Patrick
weird
Graham.
mix on both staffs of how it's the connections,
new
the past,
coaches,
new
a lot of unknowns.
Ohio State.
It's a good matchup. It's a good
It is
game.
a good week one matchup.
Yeah.
Two teams that struggled a year ago that both think that they've improved and they're going to get better with new coaching staffs. It's a good week one matchup.
Yeah.
I agree with Freddie.
I think the big difference is the Patriots are working with a quarterback who they think hope is the future.
Yeah, that is a big difference.
And they have a bridge quarterback, if you will.
Yeah, that is a big difference. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders rank higher on the all-time Patriots rivalry list than maybe people might acknowledge, just historically. I think a lot of people know the 2001
I have them very high on my
game,
hatred list.
For
Yes.
teams that outside of the division, I don't really know anyone
Well,
who might
it's
be.
particularly if you go back to the 70s as a fan,
Yeah.
you hated the Raiders.
Yeah.
Hated them.
That's what I've been immersed in.
But now it's like, we kind of have the big game is the one that the Patriots won with the Raiders recently. So like I don't.
The 2001 game.
Like I couldn't care less about the Raiders.
Is 2001 recent?
Is that 24?
Well, it's modern.
I mean, it's certainly more recent than any of the Raiders' success. I'll
it's
grant you
modern
that.
Patriots history. There's like the ancient Patriots history and the modern Patriots history, and I don't think that the Raiders are a big rival in the modern Patriots history.
No, it's
but the modern Patriots history. Who's the rival? The Patriots.
Well, it was the Colts for a while.
Yeah,
right
it
now,
was.
it's just
Again,
kind
you
of
got to
a-
go back 15 years.
Yeah.
It's like the Dolphins.
But
and the
right
Bills
now, like we launched our rivalries line of clothing last week, and the Jets was the game that the league chose as the rivals. I don't know if the league or we chose it, but it's hard to say who are the Patriots rivals.
I like that kind of stuff because it's subjective.
Yeah.
And for me, when I go back to what Fred's talking about, the Raiders and the Steelers, I hated in the 70s. I hated them, because they were good. I mean, it's obvious why. They were the good teams. And then, for the division, it was Miami. Because the Patriots could never beat Miami, especially in Miami. But then, once the Patriots, got the dynasty, it was the Colts. The Colts and the Steelers, will go back and forth, And you didn't necessarily think of Miami the same way because Miami wasn't really all that good. In the post-Shula Marino years, Miami was always a disappointment and they never really could get over the hump.
Just I've been diving into, doing a thing for 85, but looking at the 70s, and you had the Sugar Bear Hamilton game in 76. Then you had, Darryl Stingley got paralyzed out there in the preseason in 78.
Yeah.
They did have to go back out there and win. But then the controversy between the ownership group and the Sullivans hating Al Davis and them going back and forth. And,
85,
Patrick Sullivan getting punched.
Patrick Sullivan getting punched, which I got to talk to him about, which was great. But yeah, just like all those things were percolating, and then you had a long gap, and then 01 happened. And I think to a lot of fans, they look at that as a little bit in a bubble. And I kind of look at it differently now, really, having looked back at those 70s. They're just how much there was, and went a long period.
So how do
without
you look
but
at it now? Like, how do you?
I look
view
at it like I said, like I brought it up. It's one of their biggest historical rivals, and even though there's ebbs and flows to it over the last 40, 50 years, especially in the 70s, like you guys said, and into the 80s, there was no rivalry bigger, and to go out there in '85 and beat them, like there was so much on that with guys like Steve Nelson and that had been around for a while that remembered those games in the 70s and still held a little bit of a grudge. But I will say it's funny because like we talk about the Sugar Bear Hamilton thing where it's like now like that's a penalty all day, but you also see like penalties all day happening everywhere on the field constantly during those whole games where it's like that's assault.
Yeah, what would be penalties, right?
Guys getting
so
killed.
it's
like,
one of those.
The clothesline was like you could.
I know. Well,
yeah.
I'm also reading. I'm reading. Dr. Z's got the book, A Modern Guide to Thinking Man's.
Yeah, Guide to Football.
Awesome book. I mean, it's just so much truth in it. Written in the mid '80s about everything that we talk about. But he talked about the head slap, and when they got rid of the head slap, and how that was such a big thing for defensive linemen. Like, you can't just give someone a right hook to the head anymore. that changed and made it harder for.
And believe me, it wasn't just a slap. They would have the pads on their arm, and they hit him with the forearm.
Right.
Yeah.
You get a concussion.
So
you get a concussion.
I don't know if you guys follow it. Everybody has all kinds of different stuff that ends up, in their feeds on the various social media networks. This guy Kevin Gallagher, he does a lot of historical football clips, which is, as you guys would guess, right up my alley. I love the stuff. But earlier this week, there was an anniversary of the NFL sort of modernizing the pass defense in terms of bump and run. It was like the Mel Blount rule.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Blount used to kill guys all the way down the field.
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore. And
you can't take someone's life anywhere.
So no, but you look at it now, right? And you'd be like, well, geez, he touched him 7 yards downfield. You can't do that's illegal contact.
Right.
Like back in the day, there was like literal physical contact between the cornerbacks and the receivers all the way down the field. It was like bump and run, literally all the way down the field, and they outlawed it in like. I think it was 78, with the advent of the 16-game schedule, and that's why they were sort of there was a whole bunch of rules changes, and the schedule expanded from 14 to 16.
No, you were able to work receivers, and if you're working hard, Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel that are built for the job site, and they're an official sponsor of the New England Patriots and Gillette Stadium field crew. The gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that helped design it. You can even try Brunt out on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they'll let you send it back. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS. So the other thing I want to talk about, this is kind of an aside.
I'm going to run to the locker room.
All right, you go run. Paul and we'll take care of it.
Don't worry, some of us care about our work.
Yesterday we were talking about the picks contest, or the picks that we do on Thursday, and how do you get fans involved and all that. Of course, immediately after the show, I got emails from fans, oh, you should do this, you should do that. A couple fans offered their services in creating an app or something to do. There was one guy that yesterday said he could write something, but it wouldn't be ready for next show. I said, yeah, go ahead and start it. But since then, Boston Cream has sent us something that he created, kind of an app, and it'll be ready for next show. So, Matt, can you hear me? Are you in there? Yeah, so why don't we tell Tom, who I told yesterday, go ahead and do that. Call the dogs off with him, and let's use this thing with Boston Cream. So between now and tomorrow, figure out how we can present that to fans, tell them what to do, and how it'll work, okay? And then we'll incorporate it into the show tomorrow. So this looks pretty good. I'm looking at it. Boston Cream sent me some some shots of it. All right.
All right, we can. You guys got to turn your mics down in there.
Yeah. So we'll have something with that. I just wanted to get Boston Cream, let him know as soon as possible, let Tom know that he can stop writing his code.
We have code.
Well, I don't know how he was writing it, but
written.
Yeah.
So this is for the fans contest.
Yeah. So this is separate.
So I still have to do my sheet.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because I know you like my sheets. You guys,
no, you still have to do your sheet.
You guys like to make fun of the dinosaur for writing it out.
This is assumedly the fans will go on this app and they'll do their picks, and then on the next show I'll use that to say, okay, so and so did the best.
Okay.
Yeah, and there'll be like a leaderboard and all that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. What were you saying before?
Nothing, but we do have the opener tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm really looking forward to the start of the season. I have no real interest whatsoever in that game tomorrow night, though.
Who is it?
Philly and Dallas.
Why not?
Because of exactly that. My abnormal hatred of divisional games.
I know, but these are two. Well, at least Philly is a team that should be a playoff contender, and you want to see the state of the Cowboys at all times.
Yeah, I guess.
Is it in Dallas or Philly?
I assume it's Philly. It's the NFL kickoff for the Super Bowl champ. I assume it's in Philly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use your theory of I'm just disappointed with the whole Micah Parsons thing. Dallas, the league is better if Dallas is good. And I know that they're polarizing no matter what. I don't like the Cowboys. They put them with the Steelers and the and the Raiders.
Right.
For me, from my childhood, but I don't think they're going to be overly good. I think they'll be better because Dak Prescott will be healthy, but the defense certainly isn't going to be as good. We got a division matchup Thursday night. We got a division matchup Friday night with Kansas City and the Chargers.
And that's in Brazil, right?
I don't even know where it is.
Yeah.
But last year, I think they hit a home run with Kansas City and Baltimore. That's a great matchup that you don't get to see every year or all the time. These games that they love the division games, Freddie. They love them.
Well, there's more of them, so they get more to choose from.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll be watching. It's the first game of the year. Be into it,
Sure.
but I'll be surprised if I stay with it.
Yeah, I'll be asleep by halftime, I'm sure. But yeah, I'll be watching. Absolutely. NFL football, Paul. Can't beat that product.
I generally don't watch the Thursday night games.
I know you don't.
On a weekly
I think
basis.
it's great. I love it.
Too many of those odd time games.
I've come to like the Amazon stream and that whole presentation.
Well, that's the biggest reason why I don't watch the Thursday night games is because I can't change the channel.
Yeah, right. No, I hear that. They've got to figure that out. All right, let's get to the phones. Again, Mike has just left for practice. Evan's already out there.
Mike has gone to the locker room.
Oh, he's going to the
practice
locker room.
is later.
Oh, that's right. They
Locker
do the
room
locker
is
room
open
before
now.
practice. So
Correct.
they're both in the locker room. Then they'll go out to practice. Then they'll come back, and people will be coming and going. So we'll get to that. But in the meantime, let's hear from you. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. We'll start with Dante, who's in Delaware. Hey, Dante.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Hey.
I'm looking forward to Sunday, and I hope you all are as well. Defense, more specifically secondary, was never a worry in my mind going into this season, but now I'm having second thoughts. What are your thoughts on the Peppers release? Do you expect us to make another acquisition for our secondary? And who do you see us using to not stop but slow down Brock Bowers this Sunday?
Okay, so two questions. What do we talked extensively about Peppers yesterday.
I thought it was surprising, just in a nutshell. I thought it was a surprising move. You can certainly understand Mike Vrabel trying to surround himself with as many of his guys, quote unquote, as he can. This is a guy who probably doesn't figure to be part of the future at, year 8 or 9 now at this point. I was still surprised. I thought he was a starting caliber player. They obviously thought differently. Maybe they're looking for a little bit more youth and speed and range at the back end of the safety spot. So that's what we thought about Peppers.
Yeah, and we think that they tried to move both Peppers and Duggar, that both were available.
Yeah.
They couldn't move either one of them, and they didn't want to keep both of them.
Yeah, in terms of the secondary, I think their starting corners in Gonzalez and Davis are solid. I'm a little bit more concerned about what's behind them with Marcus Jones and Alex Austin and I guess DJ James now. So I think that's a little bit of a thin spot. They've made safety a little bit of a thin spot, I think, with their decision with Peppers. I don't know what you're going to acquire at this stage that's going to necessarily add significantly. I mean, maybe there's a veteran, I think Stephon Gilmore is still available, but I just don't think that makes any sense based on the other moves that Vrabel's making. The guys they're acquiring now are young guys that are, they're trying to see if they're worth developing. And what they're going to do on Sunday with Brock Bowers, it's another part of the newness that we just don't really know because we've never seen Terrell Williams and this group of coaches put together a game plan. I wouldn't be surprised to see Carlton Davis heavily involved with Brock Bowers on Sunday with some linebacker and safety bracketing kind of stuff. You know, maybe Christian Ellis is a pretty mobile linebacker. Spillane is a guy that moves around well. But you can't ask linebackers and safeties to cover Brock Bowers.
If the Raiders had a true number one in the true sense of a receiver, that would create a whole different set of problems. But I think because they don't have that one guy that, you know, is of the level of a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, I think you can afford to put Carlton Davis on Bowers.
Well, I mean, it's pick your poison. I mean, they have two guys that are very similar.
They're good. Myers
and Bowers, I think that they probably feel Bowers is the more dangerous guy.
Yeah.
And I think he'll get more attention as a result.
Boston Cream's on the phone, so he heard me talking about him. What's up, Boston Cream?
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I missed most of the conversation about after you mentioned that we're going to go with my method. So if you don't mind, I'll just talk about it for.
Yeah. No, give us a preview of how that's going to work for fans.
Okay, so anyone who's kind of familiar with fantasy football knows the Sleeper app. I've just created a pick'em pool on Sleeper. I'll disseminate the link amongst my socials, Fred, Paul, everyone else. If you guys can possibly do the same, that would be easy. Fans can just click the link. They'll have to make a profile and download the app. That's about as difficult as it gets. Each week you'll go into the app and you simply just pick which team you think is going to win. I'm assuming we just want to do a straight pick-em, not spread.
Well, we want to do both. That's how we do it.
Well, we're doing it, but the fans can do whatever.
Oh, they can do whatever they want, but it'd be good to see how they do against the spread too.
Okay.
I don't know.
That might be harder.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what.
So if you could choose, Paul, what should you do? Spread or straight up?
Straight up. For the fans.
I agree.
All right.
I just think it's easier for.
It is easier
for him.
It's easier for everybody.
But I think from a design standpoint.
Well, that's true because their spread may not be the same as ours. Yeah. No, so do it straight up. Good point. Yep.
Okay, sounds good. And then on the app, it's going to be really nice for fans. You can actually see where people rank each week, and there's an overall leaderboard, this, that, and the other. It's very, very simple, so I'm glad you guys chose my method. But if you can help me spread the word, that would be great.
Okay. So what we'll do is as soon as you give the link to Matt Morrell, either in this show or tomorrow's show at the top of the show, we'll share the link so that, you know, people can download it and have it ready. You know, we have to have a cutoff, right? Yeah, I'm sure the app itself has its own cutoff for doing the picks. Yep.
Yes, it does. Fred, the link is attached to the email.
All right. Well, that's a Matt Morrell thing. He has to take care of that. Maybe
he's giving a thumbs up.
I've got it all. We're all set.
Got it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks, Boston Cream. Appreciate that.
No worries. I'm usually a menace, but today I'll be a helper.
All right. Thanks a lot.
I know.
All right. All right. So we have a solution there.
Fans can they can play along with us on Thursdays, right?
Yeah.
They can have their contests at the same time, and they'll see that it's not as easy as you think.
Yep. Another logistical question. This isn't about picks. Chris in Santa Fe says, just found out the closest fan club to me is not really active anymore. How do I go about starting a new one?
All of a sudden, that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I love it. So, Chris, here's how you start your club is up to you. If you already have a group of fans, then, that's great. You have the beginnings of a fan club. But the way it works on the fan club registry on Patriots.com is you go there, you have to have a minimum of 10 members. And you share the names and emails of those members with us in an Excel spreadsheet that, just email it. And all the instructions are in the registry. Once we verify that these are real people and you didn't just make them up, then we'll register you, and you have control of the page from that point on. Once you create an account, you can put up your logo. You can list, what bar that you meet at to watch the game. You can list, events that you're having. A lot of our fan clubs have charitable events during the season, and they list, when that's happening. So you, as president of the club, you would register yourself as the administrator. You have access. You have control of the page. The only thing you can't change are the names of the members. Those you have to request us to change because we have to. So what you do is, okay, I've added 5 members 3 months from now. Just send us the new spreadsheet, and we'll verify it and upload that so that your membership stays current. And then once we do that, all your members will receive the newsletter that goes out that we send to all fan club members. And you also get discounts and things like that. So that's how you do it. You just have to get a minimum of 10 members, send it to us, create your account on the fan club registry, and you're off to the races.
So what happens if you only have like eight members?
Tough luck.
Is that like a gang?
Yeah,
it's not a club, not a full-fledged club.
It's
like a gathering,
a mini club. So you have to get 2 more members.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
you just threaten people. So you will join this club.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to, but if you don't, things could happen.
Right. It's in your best interest.
Right. You wouldn't want a fire go off in your store,
Wow. You just took it to a dark place.
Yeah, sure. All right. So good stuff. I like it. We're taking care of some business here. Spee writes in, semantic question. At what point do you conclude a player is officially injury prone? He puts in quotes.
It's a good one.
Are we there yet with Gonzo?
That's a good one.
More
Spee.
of a finesse corner in college, so I wonder if we're seeing the consequences of physicality in the NFL for that kind of player.
So I would say that a
there's nothing
soft tissue,
physical about this injury.
A soft tissue injury might be a little bit different, but I think your larger point, I think, is worth talking about. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
like when do you have? Does a guy go from it's too bad if he could just stay healthy to be now he's injury prone?
Right.
I don't know.
Yep. And it's an unfortunate thing. A lot of people bristle at that term because they just think it's bad luck.
Well, and they also think you're kind of calling the guy soft.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily saying every guy that suffers a lot of injuries is soft.
Right.
Some are.
Right.
But I'm not necessarily saying all guys that are injury prone. Like, Rob Gronkowski was injury prone.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would call him a soft player.
Right.
Right?
Right. He was and part of the reason he got injured a lot is because he wasn't soft.
Right.
He didn't shy away from contact. Travis writes in, although it came at my expense, I'd like to commend Pat in Agawam for being less boring yesterday than he normally is. However, as usual, his contribution to the show fell flat. Although I routinely take swipes at Pat's lack of intrigue and question why he's a featured component of your show, I've never used a nasty tone nor stooped to name-calling like he did yesterday. Most would agree that my email about Deion Lewis was more thought-provoking than Pat's tedious Super Bowl prediction that no one cares about, during which he called Vikings coach McConnell instead of O'Connell. Following up, I think averaging 15 touches per game is a lot harder to achieve than you're making it out to be. More Travis, more Christian, more Eldred, less Pat. So we were talking about how many touches Henderson might have.
Yeah, and listen, game scripts can vary. We know that sometimes the game's going to declare in a different way, and you're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do. So this is not a steadfast, you have to get them 15 touches every game. But I'd be surprised if the Patriots don't look at this, and Josh McDaniels, we want to get Henderson involved every game if we can, somewhere between 10 and 15 touches. We don't want him to run down. We don't want to give him 15, 17 carries between the tackles every game. But, and touches also, that can be, a kickoff return.
Yep.
And I think that what you actually, how you quantify it too, it's not even just touches. Sometimes it's targets. You might get him 5 or 6 carries, and you might throw the ball in his direction 5 or 6 times, and all of a sudden that's how you get the 12, combined. But I get what he's saying. You can't necessarily control that every week. Sometimes the game gets out of hand, and you're not able to do what you want to do.
Yep.
If you fall behind, maybe you're throwing more passes to Henderson. He's getting all the touches. Maybe you get a big lead, and you want to run the ball the whole second half, and Henderson's really not as big a part of that.
Right. Yep. I have to do another read here. We did this before, but they wanted me to remind people that traditions matter for football fans, turning moments together into something truly epic. They're what inspire us to make our masa in Tostitos the traditional way, starting with whole corn kernels, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, all to give you that perfect crunch. Discover your next tradition this football season. Head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan the code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, tradition matters. All right. So there you go. Getting back to the phones here. Actually, you know what? It's a good time for a break, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do that. More calls and emails. We're going to wait for Evan and Deuce to come back from practice, tell us what they've seen. So a lot more to come here on Patriots Unfiltered. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/one-rate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
As we get going here, how is Drake continued to progress in your offense, and just sort of where do you see him at this point?
Yeah, I think we make progress every day. He's done a lot of good things, and then to me, the greatest part about training camp is you have a opportunity to see different things, experience things you've never experienced, either with the group that you're out there with or within our own system. Against different defenses, our defense, Washington, Minnesota this week. And all of those, to me, are super valuable for us in terms of his growth in a system and our offense's growth together. So just encouraged by what we're doing every day. I really like the trajectory that we're on.
What's the learning curve been like for him? It's obviously a work in progress, but how did you go about it?
Yeah, I mean, he works extremely hard every day to be prepared for each practice. And he's a quick learner, that's for sure. And the biggest thing we've tried to talk about since we got to get on the grass in the spring is to try to limit the number of repeat errors. If we make an error, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing as long as we learn from it and don't repeat it again. So he's pretty quick study in that regard. He's got a great memory. Sometimes in football things happen one day and they might not happen again for 2-3 weeks. But you still got to try to process that in the moment and do it when it counts. So again, excited about him, the whole group, in terms of their willingness to learn from their mistakes and then come out and get better the next day.
Josh, you're starting to get used to what these guys can do. Like you mapped it out, mapped it out, and now you're seeing whether or not it works or not. Is that an ongoing process?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that will probably continue to go on through training camp. And then usually that's going to probably, the evolution of what you do with these guys will continue during the season, especially the first year together. And so I think we've, like today we're trying some new things with different people, and now that we have a better understanding of each guy's skill set, how much they can process, who can play multiple positions, the types of things that they do well on first and second down, may be different than what they do well on third down. In the red zone, same thing. So we're really trying to hone in on what they do well and what they do best, and then continue to try to grow and build from there.
Josh, when you're a quarterback like Drake, you obviously have a lot of playmaking ability. How difficult is it to sort of convince him on that fine line between playing hero ball and staying just sort of living to fight another day? Is that a tough line to sort of straddle?
Hopefully it won't be a tough line to straddle. I think he's still learning, all of those things. He's like, he's such a gifted athlete. And I think, a lot of guys that play this position that have ability to throw it, but also to move and make plays with their legs and extend plays, they have to find that line themselves, honestly. We can tell them all we want. Don't make a bad play, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be the first one in the end zone when he extends a play. And, we all saw the one to pop, early in training camp. And, if I was telling him to throw that away, I'd have been pissed at myself, you know what I mean? So I think, I would say this, he's definitely more aware as we go into this training camp and the next practice and all that. You saw him slide a couple times the other night, which was great. So again, there's a fine line between holding onto the ball too long in certain situations and then doing the right thing to help the team. And those guys that were blessed with that ability, they're the ones that have to go out there and learn how to do that and balance it.
The way he was able to create those legs last year, Josh, was a real threat for that offense. Do you have like a number in mind for you or Mike or both that okay, we don't want to exceed this in terms of carries for him because then we might be asking for trouble?
Yeah, we don't have that. We haven't talked about that, but I think, he had 400 and some yards rushing last year on no designed runs, so I think the reality is, those loose plays are hard to predict when they're going to come up, like the other night, we didn't call a pass play for him to scramble for a first down, but he did, and it was a good play. So I think he just has to understand when there's nothing there and he has an opening, what to do with the ball. I think he's really improving in that area and understanding his value to the team is when he's healthy. And so I think that's what we're all talking about. So players that have the ability to do both, they have to be smart about it, because when Coach Vrabel always says, we're going to protect the team, you know what I mean? And whether that you play running back and you protect the ball, or you make a great decision off the field, or you're the quarterback and you scramble and you decide to slide, all of those things are protecting the team. And so I think Drake is definitively looking to try to do that, every time he has the ball in his hands.
Josh, apologies if you did.
The tush question is, I don't know if we've ever asked you this, but play itself. What are your thoughts on it and even running it with that context in mind?
Yeah, I've never done it. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't do it. I think it depends on if you feel like you need that to gain additional inertia and move the ball forward. Obviously, the Eagles are exceptional at it and have been for a few years now. I don't dislike the play. Again, I think each team is probably going to make their own decision. One thing I think it is it's not an easy play to practice in full pads and get good at, because we're obviously not going to create a bunch of scrums on the practice field with our own defense, and risk injuries and those kind of things. So you're going to have to find creative ways to do that if you're going to do it. And I'm sure defending it is much the same conversation, How do we defend this if we're not allowed to dive at the center's legs and, you know what I mean, all the things that defenses try to do to stop it. So, we'll look at everything that may help our team win. And, certainly Vrabes will make the final decision on things like that.
Josh, apologies if you've been asked this before, but when it comes to the risk-reward nature of Drake's game, specifically when it comes to extending plays, is there anything you found yourself having to do differently as a coach, knowing you've coached a lot of quarterbacks, but perhaps not one with this particular skill?
Not really. Because I think as a coach, you have to coach each play as if they're not going to run past the quarterback and give him a lane to take off and run with the ball. I think that's kind of a happening, if you know what I mean. It's, you happen to, it's like a hole in one in golf. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are hitting it to go in the hole, but sometimes I haven't never done it, but every once in a while it'll go in and you'll go, wow, that was great. You know what I mean? So I think to me, when he scrambles, hopefully it's under the right circumstances. I thought you saw him the other night on a few of those things, hang in a pocket and do the right thing, you know? So we have to coach as if the defense is going to play good defense, and we're going to need to maintain our posture as a passer and try to find the open receivers, which I think he's done a great job of. And again, in training camp, it's hard to simulate those things because, you know, we don't run with the ball a whole lot, you know, and scramble and all the rest of it. So we'll see. It'll be a work in progress during the season.
Josh, I'm curious, Travion Henderson, I know his touchdown was more of a special teams play, but just what did you
We count that as an offensive play too.
What did you see on that play, and just what kind of threat and weapon?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think everybody sees Travion the same way. You know, he's first of all, he's a tremendous kid, awesome individual, really hard worker, smart kid, can process a lot of information, which allows you as a coach to try to use him in the ways that he should be used. Explosive, you know, I think we all saw that the other night, and tough, physical. So I don't have many negatives to say about Trey. You know, but excited to coach him. We've had some really good players with skill sets that are somewhat like his. Maybe nobody quite as fast as, you know, Vereen was probably the fast. Him and Danny Woodhead were fast, but Travion's fast. So excited to be with him.
Do you see many of that tape at all?
Yeah, he's seen plenty, and now he's putting it on tape too. So we use a lot of practice film to review what we can do better. And you know, obviously we have some things we can use from the past, but certainly trying to get these guys to do it their own selves.
Seems like rule changes at cut blocks have made screens a little bit more difficult to run league-wide. What's the key to being able to practice and execute those at a high level?
I think you need to practice them at full speed. So whether it's in a joint practice or some type of a scrimmage situation, I think those are always good. And then, you know, we called a few in the game the other night. It's hard to simulate that in shells without a full speed rush and all the rest of it. When the rushers have to pull off the quarterback, you know, it's not the same. So I think, you know, as many of those as we can practice and work on, I think that's the best situations. Hopefully we can run a few here this week against Minnesota, see how they go. But coaching off of them, and then when we get to the regular season, obviously we'll have an opportunity to do it against real competition each week. And hopefully we know what we're trying to get out of the play. The lack of cutting and all that, I mean, it kind of goes both ways. You know, they're not allowed to cut us on tosses and all that. We're not allowed to cut them on screen. So, you know, it evens out at the end.
Josh, two rookies on the left side. I think our good friend Mike Reese had a stat, hasn't been done in 25 years to start the season. What has given you the confidence that those two guys can handle what is about to come their way?
I think, you know, the way they work every day certainly is that's where it starts, you know, and their performance, you know, they've earned that right. This isn't something that somebody just, you know, said, well, it's going to do that without watching them in practice and evaluating what's best for the team. So, you know, I think certainly Mike makes those decisions, and we're all here to try to support the guys that are in there and try to improve their skill set each day. But I think they've performed admirably. There's going to be some things they're going to learn throughout the course of every game, every practice. And our job is to help them improve. And so that's what we're going to do. We're not going to get frustrated with a mistake here or there. And we're going to make sure that we try to do everything we can to help them get better. And so far, those guys have made progress steadily throughout the course of their time here.
Josh, Garrett Bradbury shared yesterday that you guys are going to game plan a little bit for Flo because he's seen other teams come in against Flo, and just his word was disaster. Just what specifically with the way Brian runs his defense is going to most benefit you guys this week?
I feel like you just jinxed me, Andrew. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of different things, you know. So I think we've seen a lot from our defense here, which has been great work for us. But I also, you know, this is going to be a new. They'll align in different spots. They'll pressure us in different ways that maybe our defense hasn't yet. And it's just great to go up there and get tested. What happens in these practices is you find out how well you know your rules, because you can't anticipate everything. We're not going to have, you know, 3 days of meetings and 3 practices, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to get ready to play them. So we're going to have hopefully a heck of a work day today. and then get ready to meet on them a little bit later today and tomorrow, and then go up there and let it rip on Wednesday. And I'm sure we're going to learn a lot. There's going to be some mistakes. There almost always is both ways when you have a joint practice. And hopefully it's similar to what we just experienced with Washington, which is a great day of work. Hopefully a couple days up in Minnesota.
Josh,
You got it.
it's okay. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks, guys.
And now, great moments in history.
Eric and Paul show a feeling for the league. Jacksonville wins this game. They do, in fact, get that.
I took the Houston points.
What about the cover?
I took the Houston
3.5.
points.
Jacksonville by 3.5.
Yeah.
You took Jacksonville, so you want the point? You lay in the points?
If we can believe this.
They're gonna win by more.
He's winning on both sides.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's winning.
They're gonna win.
Now you don't want to know why I have that face.
Some of these are not intentional.
Yeah. This is your lock of the week. Upset lock of the week. Pittsburgh over the Titans. What was the spread?
2. 2. Huge upset.
2. They're going to win by more.
Big upset. The New England money's not coming in. So that worries me. That worries me in this game. What do they know? What do they know? But I'm going to say nothing. They know nothing.
I thought you were going to say nothing.
Yeah. And
he's done that plenty.
Yeah. Patriots prevail.
Shocker.
28-19. Patriots.
My favorite part of the Fredisms when he gives picks on games that there's some thought to, like that one, right? He's tortured for a minute.
And
really could go either way.
Right, and then
still
Patriots
finds a way
win.
for a 2-score win.
Right, yeah.
That's another great moment from
All about confidence.
What about confidence?
It's important to have when you're on the road with Bridgestone tires on your car, truck, SUV, or minivan. You're riding on tires you can trust. Bridgestone tires are engineered to give you peace of mind so you can focus on enjoying the journey. So whether you're on your morning commute, a cross-country road trip, or relaxing Sunday drive, Bridgestone tires will be with you wherever life's roads may lead. Bridgestone, solutions for your journey, available now at Sullivan Tire.
Dude, you remember what they really are then. Tire.
All right, well, guess what? Deuce is back.
Look who's back from the locker room. What was the mood? Were the players friendly too bad? None of them looked like Derrick Henry. Hey, Mike, what was it like in the locker room? Hey, Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
All right, Mike. What was it? One of the year.
I love that song.
Great, good vibes. Pre-practice, guys strapping on the pads, getting ready for a day of work. That was good. We was good. Little from Austin Hooper, Mac Hollins, and Will Campbell as well. Which Will Campbell, scrum kind of happened. I couldn't burrow my way into here, so that one didn't quite catch everything I would have liked to. But overall, everybody, I think, just excited to get this thing rolling. That's like we all are. You're preparing for the unknown, as Vrabel said. Mike Hollins kind of echoed that. We'll just see what happens, and let's see if our identity carries over. That was his thing. Are we going to be the kind of team that we think we want to be?
So Paul and I were talking before you got here. This year, open locker room is before practice. Mm-hmm. In the past, it's been after practice. You notice a difference?
A little bit. I mean, it's interesting because I'm trying to remember, because last year we were in the Revs locker room, so it was
and it might have always been,
was,
since you've been here, it may have always been before.
I think Fridays have been after.
Fridays
generally are hard to get guys, and it felt like everybody was packing up and getting out.
Because Bill has done it, Bill for the 20 whatever years did it a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
But I think since you've been here, I think it's almost always been the players are available before practice, except for Fridays.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah, there. I mean, I do remember during COVID there were some late avails, and that was all
that was all
virtual kind of stuff.
Online anyway.
Yeah, I'm still kind of getting a feel for the locker room and like how last year was different, and we had set interviews, and we're back to kind of free for all scrum style. And
I think before practice is better, but I definitely see the drawbacks both ways. Because before practice, they're trying to get dressed and get out to practice before they get in trouble. After practice, obviously, they're trying to get undressed and get out.
But they still have to have 45 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I feel like generally guys are pretty welcoming and warm around the locker room. I mean, we weren't really in there much last year after a certain point, but I would say generally speaking, Matt Collins, Spillane, Morgan Moses, just some of those guys, they seem very happy to talk. And
Music playing?
A little more. Not to the extent that there has been in the past. Not
No?
to the extent there has been in the past. They're not getting pumped up for practice, but there is, I think, generally just, like I said, the overall overshadow of it all.
Any
is just
indications
week one.
of board games?
Not that I saw today, no, but lots of PB&Js and Uncrustables in there, though, like homemade Uncrustables. And I did see Gonzalez walk through, and it seems like he's working out. I don't know what it means, but he's definitely not on the you can't do anything plan. So maybe that's a positive sign for a week or two down the road.
All right. Back to your comments and emails. Podcasts@patriots.com is the email address. Ted in Las Vegas writes in. He thinks this is an interesting stat. On July 24th, Caesars Sportsbook had the Patriots plus 7,000 and the Raiders plus 9,000 to win the Super Bowl. Now the odds are Patriots plus 8,000 and the Raiders are plus 4,500. So the Patriots went up 1,000. The Raiders went down by half from 9,000 to 4,500. The Raiders' improvement might be due to being in Las Vegas, where Caesars is. The Patriots' worst odds are probably a reflection on how their preseason went.
What
do you think?
What do the Sharps know?
What do the Sharps know?
That's interesting. I mean, we've speculated about all this stuff, like when the line starts to move. What does it mean?
Yeah, I don't think I think the Patriots generally get a lot of money. I don't think the Raiders would. I don't think the Raiders have a lot of fans in Vegas.
How do you feel if you're a Raiders fan right now? Yeah, like
I'd be excited about it, but Fred makes a good point about the Geno Smith bridge guy. Like, I'd feel better about it if they had Drake May.
And plus, Pete Carroll's super old, and you can't imagine he's
Yeah,
going to be around
I don't worry
for very
about that because the
long.
coaches are interchangeable. Like, if you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent. But
you have the talent right now. Like,
I'd be much more worried about the bridge guy. No, they don't have the talent
well, I'm
now.
saying, like, you got a couple pieces, though.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got,
And that's what I would be excited about. I feel like they have a few, like Mike said, like Vrabel said, they have some impressive skill position guys to build around. If you can get a quarterback, now, so they're doing it kind of differently than some other team. Washington got Daniels, and they're trying to put the team around him. Patriots obviously got May. Now they're trying to put the team around him. The Raiders are saying, let's see if we can get some pieces around him and then find the quarterback. Next year is supposed to be a draft where there's a lot of potential first-round picks. Some people think as many as 5 or 6 first-round quarterbacks potentially. Doesn't mean you're going to get a good one.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to get a good one. So that's where Fred's point about the difference between the two approaches right now is Geno Smith is a bridge guy, and that would worry me. But Carroll, I think, is a good guy to be with Geno Smith in the bridge. When you get a quarterback, hopefully you're going to figure out who your coach is.
Chip Kelly, maybe
who knows?
Ascends.
Who knows?
Yeah,
it's just a different approach.
Yeah,
that's all.
I was I was noticing Chicago's roster and just how they've kind of done it, and adding Colston Loveland, who was injured, and last year getting Dunze, but it's still just continuing to add piece.
Colston Loveland's hurt now.
He was hurt all summer. I don't know if he's ready to go now. I think he is ready to go, but it was a little bit of a projection at that point when he was drafted. I remember at the combine he had his whole arm in a sling, but between them and Detroit, and you see some of these teams that just continue to add intriguing offensive talent, and they have it coming up through the pipeline, and just love to get to that point where even if somebody goes down, well, we still got this guy kind of coming in, and they're insulated. Whereas the Raiders just such an extreme example of having Brock Bowers the number one, and then Jacoby Myers is a really solid player, but I think they're hoping that those other guys develop, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Some of those teams just have a lot of talent.
Dan in Poughkeepsie writes in, as an avid listener of the show, I constantly have it on in my car with my girlfriend, who's from New Jersey and a big Jets fan. After being exposed to the podcast, she was quick to dislike Paul for his argumentative nature and volume. However,
that's fair.
She has fully come around to the great white snark. The start of the turnaround
Also fair.
The turnaround was simple. Paul was referring to a football game in which the Commanders made many mistakes down the stretch, ultimately costing them the game. Paul described the situation as Washington pooping all over themselves. The final verbal gesture to put him as the favorite of the show came last week. Paul knew the difference between Newark, New Jersey, and Newark, Delaware. As a proud Delaware Blue Hen alum, she was impressed and has become the most recent member of the Paul fan club. Well, nobody knows, low-level college sports than Paul.
CAA sports at its finest right there.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually been to Newark, Delaware.
To watch Northeastern?
On the campus of Delaware. They used to host the basketball tournament way back in the day, and I covered it for the Herald like 2 or 3 years.
My sister was a Blue Hen down there.
Oh,
in
really?
Delaware.
Did not know that.
She was.
But that's generally the way it works. Hatred followed by, you know what, he's not so bad. That's usually, I just wear him down.
Yeah. What does your brother say? You're like a toothache that
dull toothache.
It
just won't go away.
It won't go away.
Kyle from Pembroke, I think the Patriots' biggest modern rival right now is the Bills. We were talking about rivals. They're 8-3.
That's a hammer and a nail.
Yeah, they're 8-3 against us since Brady left, and their rise is correlated with our fall. Not to mention
one of those in a hurricane, in another in a game the Patriots were trying to lose.
Not to mention with the hatred between the fan bases, they're clearly the biggest rival. The closest I'd say is the Colts. We have athletic quarterbacks drafted in the top 5 of the draft, and we hope could be the franchise quarterback. Both franchises fell from grace since the 2010s, and games are still close with the fans still hating each other. I don't know about that. And even with the Bills, that gets into that whole thing about rivals. Like, do you have to be kind of evenly matched to truly be a rivalry?
Yeah.
For years, Red Sox fans considered the Yankees their biggest rival. Yankees fans are like, we don't even care about you.
But the Yankees hated the Red Sox too. Like, don't you have to have hatred on both sides? Like,
yes.
The Bills rival right now is not the Patriots.
Right.
It's the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I don't even think the Patriots would be in the top 5.
No, I agree.
Would you have called any of those guys rivals when the Patriots were winning the AFC East?
I wouldn't call Buffalo the rivals.
Buffalo sure wasn't a rival
when
Brady was
Brady was going 33-3 against Buffalo.
It was Pittsburgh. It was the Colts.
Pittsburgh and the Colts were the two big rivals.
So you don't have rivals when you stink. Is that fair to say?
Well, you think you do, but do you really have it?
It's like
you don't.
It's like that cartoon with Spike. You and me as pals, right, Spike? And he's like running around trying to it's like Andy Hart, like nipping at your heels.
Right.
Like, go away, kid! You bother me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that's we want to get back into rivalry setting with the Dolphins and
yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
yes. in a competition with them to
like the Dolphins. You keep saying it. You have like goals in your mind, Mike, and you're great as
I have goals.
Is it asking too much? Can we beat Miami just once?
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time the Patriots beat Miami?
Now
with Tua, I mean
the one that I think can go on both sides is when the Patriots were in the dynasty, always beating the Jets. But then Rex Ryan took over as the head coach of the Jets.
There's a little rivalry going
all
there.
Of a sudden,
that was a rivalry.
All of a sudden, they started competing, and you have this.
It was rivalry adjacent at least.
Right.
It was welcome.
Right.
I enjoyed those
like
years.
Rex took it as the Patriots are our number one rival, and we did the whole "go away, kid, you bother me," and then all of a sudden they beat us a couple of times, and we said, "Okay, we got to take this seriously," and then they never won again.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you just can't leave, as I like to say.
I like those years. I mean, it was Rex Ryan drive you nuts, but it was great for the rivalry and brought so much juice to the
09 through 11 was good theater.
God, did he annoy me?
Yeah. It was good, but it was good.
It was
theater.
good drama. It was good drama.
I was so mad. I still remember the lead up into that 09 and the 10 games.
You just
against
so
those
wanted to
guys.
beat them. Yeah.
So bad. And then Wes Welker wasn't going to play in 09. I just remember, I've said it before, walking down to get my coffee before the game, and I'm like, Wes Welker's not playing against Rex Ryan. Damn it, I was so mad.
That was the playoffs in 10.
Oh, well, that one too.
The divisional round game.
Well,
that was tough.
He wasn't hurt. He was his mouth got him.
Lucy writes in.
Soldier.
My dad and I both listened to the podcast, and our washer just broke down. He's thinking of buying another brand besides Speed Queen. Please convince him that Speed Queen is worth the extra charge.
So I just got a Samsung, and I'm very, very happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Samsung washer and dryer.
How long have you had it?
Well, I just got it.
Okay.
I literally just said I just got it.
Anyway, no, I
talk to me. How long?
In a year.
Okay.
It just
pretty
depends.
sure it'll make
if
it a
you have
year.
a big family, like some of the Samsung, LG, and you need all the bells and whistles. Speed Queen may not be the way to go.
I don't have bells and whistles.
You don't have bells and whistles on yours?
No.
Maybe
he's an empty nester now. Look
maybe
at him.
a whistle.
So why didn't you get the Speed Queen?
Yeah.
Because I don't want a Speed Queen.
Why?
It sounds expensive.
It isn't. That's the point.
I got a really cheap.
Isn't.
I got a really cheap.
You just have to put quarters in it every time you want to use it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds. It sounds like industrial. It sounds industrial
Well,
to me.
they do have a model that the laundromats use.
Yeah,
and because they don't break down.
You got quarters.
They don't break down.
damn machine took my quarter.
Look at your drum. What's it made of? Probably plastic.
No,
right?
it's metal.
Oh, it's steel?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's steel, but it's some kind of.
It had to be something that doesn't rust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Fair point. I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree.
It's gonna get wet.
He looked at me with utter disdain. Well, it had to be something. It's not rust.
We're on his side of the street talking dryers.
I know. I felt like I was, usually I'm all snarky. I was on the defensive there. I didn't know what I was doing.
Anyway, well, no, I'm not going to tell your dad what to do. But if you're looking, and they're not that expensive.
No.
If you're looking for something that is...
What's not that expensive? For like regular household, like a house of 4.
It's been so long since I bought it because it doesn't break down.
Husband, wife, 2.3 kids. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Size?
I haven't been in the market for a while.
Let's price this out.
Because I want to see if I could. I actually didn't even see any Speed Queens, to be honest with you.
Well, you have to go to certain places.
You got to knock on the door.
If you go to the big box stores, they don't sell.
Big box stores don't have. So I did get it at a big box store.
Yeah, they don't have those. You got to go to the appliance store.
Yeah, which I've generally done in the past, and I would wholeheartedly agree with your theory of you're much better off going to the appliance stores. Unfortunately, they're going.
Yeah, it's hard to find them.
Hard to find the one that I got all my appliances when we first bought our house is gone.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, these are some of these are pretty nice though for the combo. I mean, you're talking almost $3,000 for the high end, 26 incher. But you go a little smaller, they do have a $1,300 combination.
Yeah, I paid less than half that.
Yeah, that's combination. That's for both, the washer and the dryer.
Oh, okay. So I paid about that then. If you're only going to go,
seems reasonable.
600 or so for one or the other.
So Lucy, if your dad wants to call in, we can talk.
Fred'll talk you through it, and he'll take care of you. What do I got to do to get you in this Speed Queen by the end of the show?
I'll look good.
No, listen, the way I found out about him, I was in the market, this is years ago, and I was in Foxborough, and there was this little appliance guy in Foxborough Center in the basement, and I walked in, and I was like,
not shady at all.
Yeah, I was mentioning, the major brands. He goes, "Have you thought about Speed Queen?" I said, "I have no idea. I've never seen it." He goes, "Just check it out."
Seminal moment for it.
Not shady at all. I'm sure they weren't running
you went with it right there.
I didn't buy it from him.
I'm sure there was no blackjack going on down in that basement either.
I did end up buying it, but not from him. But yeah.
Like, do you need a gun too, or anything like that?
Roulette wheel in the corner.
Guys,
who's asking?
I got some Speed Queens right here.
Who's asking?
Joseph, the biggest Patriots fan in Hillsboro, Oregon.
Wow.
I have a very important question for Deuce about a subject that has not been covered enough. What does Mike Vrabel wear on the sideline for Week 1? Yeah. Does weather play a factor, or is Vrabes a hardo that will wear the same fit every game? Will he outdrip Pete Carroll?
No, he loves the vest and the red sleeves. I think we have seen some windbreakers, but I will say one other thing too. Bill Belichick wore the cutoff hoodie, and he got interviewed about it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of my thing." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like he always would just ask, like, I don't know, what was just hanging up in there. I put it on, But clearly, his first game had to go with the gray cutoff hoodie.
Unfortunately, he couldn't find one that fit.
He's got to go to the double XL, I think.
Oh, Vrabel, yeah. The Vrabel will most likely have some sort of vest on
with red sleeves.
With red sleeves. Pete Carroll will have just the monocolor. He'll have a black, like dry fit, long sleeve shirt on. That's
chewing
what
gum.
he used to. Chewing gum, like
really active.
Like his life's depending on chews per minute. Right, that's what he wore. The Seahawks. He always had the Seahawk blue long sleeve dry fit. I'm sure he'll have a black one.
I respect that Vrabel's got a look, and he just kind of sticks with it. And it's kind of like we were talking off air. I have a friend who only wore black T-shirts. Like you don't want to.
I think a lot of coaches have a look, and they just stick with it. It's just that Belichick's was just so different.
Yeah, Vrabel's got those long arms, and I think that it's
it accentuates the vest.
Yeah, like it.
Are you going to track this now?
Maybe.
Tell the truth. You don't have to hide it from me. I'm going to make fun of you either way.
I'm probably going to make. How about this? I'll start making notes of what he's wearing, and if I start to see trends and there's like some different options, then I'll be
Fred,
like,
you don't want to start from behind. You have to kind of make a note anyway.
He said he's going to track it.
Okay.
He's going to track it, and then
it might lead to the establishment of a Mike Vrabel vest database. Perhaps we'll see.
Okay. All right.
But
he'd be excited.
I just like the fact that yes, Fred, he's already given it some thought.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got a thing,
I'm just trying to capture the spirit of the thing.
Cahal from Galway, Ireland writes in, was it just me, or was there an undertone of Vrabel being annoyed with Gonzo in the press conference? Felt to me that he thought he could train but decided not to. Might be reading it all wrong, but something to keep an eye on.
I thought he was just getting annoyed that all they were asking about was Christian Gonzalez in week 1 against the Raiders. That, I mean, at that particular moment, I don't know if he's saying generally.
Yeah. Well, today I didn't necessarily see that, but I do think he has been.
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit on Monday.
Soft tissue injuries, not his favorite.
Yeah. Well, Mo in Rhode Island. Last week, Paul started talking about why the Patriots aren't the Boston Patriots, but something came up that interrupted the story. Could he pick that back up? And P.S. Foxborough is closer to Providence than Boston. You said that Billy Sullivan was mad.
Yeah, well, he got pissy because he couldn't build a stadium in Boston, and then they ended up moving, and that's why he changed it from Boston to New England.
Here, at this stadium, when they made this stadium?
To Foxborough Stadium. Well, the old Schaefer Stadium.
Yeah, because for people
I don't know all the details because I wasn't around.
Yeah. I mean, for people who weren't around back then, before the Patriots played in Foxborough, they were nomads. They played at BU, they played at Harvard, they played one season at Fenway. So they didn't have a home. And like Paul said, the Sullivans were trying to build something in Boston, and they just couldn't get it done. And they had this land down here in Foxborough next to the horse racetrack, and so they built, which basically was a dump.
Oh, yeah.
It was... Actually, the Bill Stadium was built at the same time. It was exactly the same.
Oh, really?
The two of them were built.
The one they're still in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're both dumps.
Now they've added to it since then.
right.
But, just concrete bowls, literally.
Yeah.
A real dump. But I will say one thing for the Sullivans. They were one of the first teams to start the trend of naming rights for the stadium.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
Schaefer
Stadium was an endorsement deal, which I never actually knew growing up.
Yeah. So they paved the way for that.
Yeah.
Mike, I don't know if you know, but Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Right.
Wow. So if you're out there to get wasted, that was your
Imagine
beer.
like the things you
It's
used to do
gone,
to
right?
advertise. I mean, forget about like you would advertise like cigarettes and whatever else, but like Schaefer
is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
So they went out of business?
Is Schaefer still around?
I don't know. Is it still?
I mean, the land of craft beers and everybody's there. There's millions of beers in that one.
But it's amazing, like, as a kid, the jingles that you remember.
Oh, yeah. That's what they're designed for, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like you do all the time. Ozempic.
When they hijack an old song for a pit, like some kind of medication or something, those are the worst.
John in
Schaefer
South.
beer exists, and Pabst Brewing Company owns it. and
Oh, Pabst
distributes
owns it? Okay, makes sense. Swill.
I don't think I've ever had a Schaefer beer.
Young?
Well,
it's still around.
No.
I don't think that would have.
I'm
I don't
fine
think
with
that would
Bud
have
Light.
precluded me.
John,
Miller Lite.
Yeah. John in South Carolina. I agree with what you're saying about the rivals in Buffalo, with the exception of if a fan base buys a billboard harassing another fan group, they have created a rivalry where one should not exist.
Yeah, they definitely were trolling.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that was.
I agree with that.
That was a couple years ago, though. I think that was the early.
That was when
the
they
Bills,
the first year they
when they first got
finally won
good,
it.
and it was all new to them, and they were feeling themselves. And now the Bills have realized that there's not really all that much joy in winning the division.
Right.
You start getting to these AFC championships, and you can't
especially
get
when
over
there's
the
no
hump.
real competition in the
right.
division.
And you're like, what do I care about? The AFC is great. Like it's a hat and T-shirt game in the second week of
Yeah,
December.
there was a couple years there where like they had to beat Miami like on the last game of the season to win the division. I'm sure that was satisfying for
Right,
them.
but now it's like they're tying it up
last year?
early, and they're just looking at it's like, what would you guys say? How do we get past the AFC Championship?
I mean,
How do we
remember
get to this?
back in the heyday, Fred, we would have hat and T-shirt games in November.
That's right.
That's like I
That's
don't think
right.
about you at all. Like
I don't
that's
think about you at all,
like,
bro.
that's once you get to that point.
I don't even know, like Kobe Bryant. Who are you? Who's he?
I don't think about you at all.
Tim in Hilton Head thinks he's going to be a smarty pants. He says Fred looks at Paul with utter disgust and claims steel doesn't rust. I guess Pittsburgh shouldn't be part of the Rust Belt with all that steel. The Rust Belt got the name because of the closed factories that all got rusted out.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Ohio,
Cleveland,
Pittsburgh, Cleveland. It's because Buffalo. It's because all these factories along the various lakes there closed up and
now if
became
I
rusted
did
out.
a Google search on that, would it back that up?
Oh, stainless steel does not rust.
No, I know. But I never knew the origins of the term rust belt.
the rust belt.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about Dust Bowl? You got that one?
Dust Bowl.
That's
All part of the same.
that's right. During the Depression, it all dried up and came to Dust
So
Bowl.
I saw a stat or something that said, and again, this is like I picked up random information from the internet, but it said that when the Dust Bowl was originally settled, it was unseasonably, had been an unseasonably period of moisture. And so the land was actually falsely good at the point. And when they
Bait and
settled in,
switch.
and then time finally
Bait and
caught up
switch,
with
yeah.
them, the soil went to crap, and that
Okay.
was it. We're covering it all here.
Yeah. You
Well,
learn
this
it.
is what we generally
The Dust
provide
Bowl
in week 1 of the NFL season.
and washing machines.
Okay.
Fan pick contest.
Claire writes in, hello, everyone. Hello, Marine. I got to see, I see all the divisional teams as rivals. I don't hate equally, but Bills, Finns, Jets, I hate them all.
I would agree with that. Divisional rivals are the ones that you hate, but
I really struggle to hate the Bills, and I don't. Maybe that's just a me problem. Like I still have a little hate fire in me from my fan days for the Dolphins and the Jets.
for me, Miami, I still don't
but
like
the
Miami.
Bills, there's just something about them that I see a little bit of the Patriots in them, and the Patriots being like the team that couldn't quite get over the hump and never had that success, and then I don't know. There's such a passionate fan base, and there's not much up there. I'm
now
this is blasphemy right now to say,
I know
but,
what you're
but
saying.
I don't know. I don't hate them.
I don't hate the
really
Bills
like
like
Josh
that.
Allen.
Like I like Josh Allen, and I do if they play the Chiefs, I root for the Bills.
Yeah.
In those big games, they can't get over the hump. I guess you're not supposed to if you're a Patriots fan. You should be rooting against the Bills. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever do it for the Bills. For the Jets or Dolphins. I don't. Maybe it's just because I
The
like
Dolphins,
Josh
to me,
Allen.
I hated Don Shula, and then Marino came, and I hated they just couldn't ever beat them.
I loved Larry Zonka.
Oh yeah, I like. Larry Zonka
I just love Larry
Fullback,
Zonka.
right? With a
That's
little
that's
bar.
before my day.
Yeah, well, I don't.
But I would have hated them.
He was a fullback, but he was like a running back. He had a lot of carry.
Back in those days, it was two backs.
Yeah.
That in the backfield at the same time that both carried the ball.
Yeah.
Like Rocky Blyer and Franco Harris.
Yep. Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka, and then they had Jim
Kick.
Yeah. That was a good offense. Damien from Kirk Island, first-time listener. Long-time listener, first time reaching out. I've been watching a lot of Patriots and Tom Brady documentaries over the years, and I heard the word intangibles being used to describe the hidden qualities that Brady possessed that made the guy such a killer, both on and off the field. My question is, have you or any of the crew seen intangible qualities among the present group of Patriots players and coaches which show potential for greatness that we as fans would not be able to observe in reports or see in the Forged in Foxborough documentaries, which, by the way, episode 3 dropped last week. Go to YouTube, watch it, get ready for the season. It's awesome. What do you think? Anybody that you have some intangibles that you can say that kid's
Have you
got
found
it?
a tangible intangible that you could maybe point out? I don't know. I'm not sure I can answer
No, but
that
I understand
properly.
what his point is with
Does
Brady.
somebody just give you the vibe? I mean, did Brady give you guys the vibe
yeah.
in 2000 when you were like, he
well,
wasn't going to play?
in 2000, no.
I don't know.
But in
I mean, obviously
2001,
after
you
he won a
certainly
Super
did.
Bowl, he had a vibe, right? So that's
I don't know if there's a guy that maybe.
I mean, Henderson looks like a stud, but that is tangible. He runs really fast, and he just is active every time I've seen him play. So I'm not. I don't know. I mean, I would say like Keon White has looks like he has some intangibles, but I haven't seen the tangibles yet.
Okay.
I mean, he looks like an All-Pro. I mean, just getting off the
No,
bus.
but intangibles kind of like how you would describe with Jabril Peppers sort of getting the team all jacked up.
Yeah.
The defense ready to go. Maybe he's not the best safety in football, but he's got some inspiration behind him. Those kinds of players. I don't know.
I don't know if this applies, but I would just say I think the.
Well, how would you define intangible? What are, if you had to list some things that are considered intangible, what would
a
you?
certain energy that a guy brings to the building that you feel is
a
contagious?
leadership quality to him, a guy who gets more out of his ability than the sum, the sum of the parts. It's intangible, so it's kind of hard to define.
I'll say two guys. I'll say
kind of know it.
I'll say Morgan Moses. As
Morgan
being
Moses
in the
is
locker
a guy
room,
with intangibles.
He's
That's
got
a good one,
vibe
Mike.
to him. He, like I said yesterday, he's very talking to everybody. He stops by the wide receivers. He's chatting them up. And the other guy that I think is an interesting intangible guy is Mac Hollins. In that, very confident.
Two good picks. I think.
But I I wonder how it's all going to translate with Matt Collins.
And I would maybe throw Robert Spillane into this mix, but I love your 2 picks, Mike. I think that's exactly how I mean, I guess everybody thinks of that word a little bit differently.
Well, that's the thing, and you're going to yell at me.
I won't yell at you, I promise.
I think when we talk about sports and comparisons, the word intangible is misused. It should be something it's hard to put a finger on.
Yeah.
But like you see the matchups and say, okay, intangibles, coaching, this way, weather. Those aren't intangible. Those are tangible.
No,
like
but
you either have better coaching or you don't.
So I'm not. I understand what you're saying, but like when they say like coaching, you can't necessarily identify why this guy is better in this situation than that guy. You just know he in general has been better in those situations.
Okay, I thought you could.
Weather, it's not like, well, it's raining. No, the weather's a tangible.
Right.
No, it's this team has proven in the fact it doesn't matter what the conditions are. Like the Brady Patriots could beat you in any weather except for extreme heat. That was his kryptonite.
That's the one.
But like, you know, a guy's a good leader. Well, that's tangible.
Well, no, it's really not how. I think Morgan Moses is the way you just said it.
He walked in this room and said, this is a guy we would follow. It was a tangible evidence.
To me, it was an intangible.
Intangible is something I can't put my finger on why this guy's a leader.
I know.
I can.
I understand what you're saying,
You know
but
what
I
I
think
mean?
you're taking it too far.
No,
That's
I do. I get it because I was struggling with how to.
I think it's an intangible quality.
that's
Like
tangible.
you can't. Where do you put it? Like, how much is that worth?
Yeah.
It's intangible. You can't quantify it.
Yeah.
The guy's a good leader. Does that really help? He had the right thing to say. I don't know if it was the right thing to say. It seemed like the right thing to say. Where do I put that in the column?
Is it? I feel like
it's intangible.
Are we going to get into talk about aura? Because that's a big thing with the kids these days.
Riz.
And I feel
Riz,
like
aura.
like it didn't. Riz and aura is an intangible, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got an aura about him. I'd say that.
I get
some of the other ones. I get what
Fred's
Fred's
point,
saying.
but I think a lot of that stuff would qualify as intangible.
Yeah.
But I know what your point is.
Well,
I'm
I think
not
like for me,
snapping at you.
Morgan Moses, like his presence when he walked in,
Right.
To
me, it was
Is
tangible.
the presence tangible?
So what is that worth?
What?
What is that worth? If it's tangible, there's a quality to it. There's a quantity to it. What is it worth?
Right.
Like you can't put your finger on it. Just that guy's a guy who's a leader. That guy's quiet. You can see it. There's a difference.
Right.
But I don't know what either one is. Does that mean that one guy is worth more than the other? No. Like let's say two guys of the exact same ability. One guy has the leadership quality, and one guy is very quiet. One guy's Kyle Duggar, and one guy's Morgan Moses, but they're the same exact talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's intangible. I don't know who's worth more. But one guy has a leadership to him. That's, bringing some intangibles.
Well, it's an added value.
Yeah. Good question.
All right.
It is a good question. But I don't know. I think Mike came up with two good examples of Morgan Moses and Matt Collins.
And you brought up Spillane too, and that's three guys that you're hoping are going to help change the culture. And
Where's Evan?
He's going to come
He's
back
at
to practice
now.
I know.
Yeah,
but he's supposed to come back.
He will. But they're probably waiting.
I thought they only could watch a certain amount.
The other day they were out there for almost 20
what
minutes.
What is he doing now?
No, he's
conferring with Barth and Taylor Kyles.
No, I
comparing notes.
I promise you, Fred. As soon as Evan is able to be back in here, I'm sure he will.
Okay.
But I
you
think
need that practice update, huh?
Yeah, everybody does. We need it from eyes that saw it. Todd and Garner writes in, so glad I'm back home from a holiday in Minneapolis. Now I get to listen to you guys live. What's this now? Oh, okay. Well, we'll read that in a second. I really feel that the game will come down to two basic things, mistakes and coaching. Patriots have more coaching talent, and if they can minimize mistakes, turnovers and penalties, I absolutely believe that our guys will win 35-23
Right?
with the Raiders getting a junk TD
I'd also
late.
disagree.
See,
but
I
that's beside the
disagree
point.
too. I don't know if the Patriots have a coaching edge in this game.
I don't either.
Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah.
And now we don't know about Chip Kelly, but Patrick Graham has been a good
I'm
coach.
just going. I mean,
Survived
when
two
you're
firings.
talking about coaching, when it's Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel. I
Yeah.
think Pete Carroll's resume is better than Mike Vrabel's.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's a Hall of Fame coach. I don't know if he'll end up in the Hall of Fame, but he has a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah.
We'll see what Mike Vrabel ends up being. This is what, year 6?
Yeah.
Year 7?
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Pete Carroll has won a Super Bowl in the NFL.
Like, am I crazy? I just think, like, as a player, if I have a young guy like Mike Vrabel coming in, I'm like, yes, this is a team I want to be a part of. If I'm the Raiders
young at
and
heart.
I had Josh McDaniels and then he's gone and then, we're smoking cigars with Antonio Pierce and it's a party. And now they bring in the oldest coach in the whole league. And I'm like, are we on an
I
upward
think you're
trajectory?
grossly underestimating Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
grossly.
I'm just saying, but to me as a player, like,
and
I've
been there because when Pete Carroll left here, I was no huge fan of his coaching. I was a really big fan of the person. But I think he's developed into a really good coach. I think he's a good mix of the hard line and player coach, which I think Vrabel is trying to get. Vrabel's players in Tennessee did not love him.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to sort of change that mentality a little bit here. I think there's a lot.
I didn't mean that in any way a shot at Pete Carroll. I just mean as like a player looking at where's our organization going.
Let me tell you something. Pete Carroll's practices are as competitive as they can get in the NFL.
Andy Reid's one of the hardest in the league.
That's what maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, would you feel the same about Bill if Bill went to another NFL team?
Oh, I wouldn't want any part of ever playing for Bill.
Yeah, but just from a player
but I would love to play
perspective.
for Pete Carroll. The way that players talk about it, I would love to play for Andy Reid.
I totally hear what
and
you're
I think
saying,
they're
and I
hard
agree.
guys. I don't know what the mentality. You're talking about if I was on the Patriots, I'd feel better because my coach potentially could be here for a while.
I just
Whereas
feel like
Pete
maybe
Carroll,
there's-
even if it works, he's only going to be there another couple of years.
Yeah,
Well, that's different.
That's what you're saying.
kind of what-
I get
Thank
that.
you for
Yeah, I get
thank you
that.
for boiling it down to what
Yeah,
I'm kind of
I think that's inarguable. He's the oldest coach in football.
Right.
Right. I don't know how you can have a logical argument to say Pete Carroll's not on the back nine.
Right.
How can you-
but
how
I
can you
agree
argue
with your
that?
point of like, I mean, for me, liking to play for kind of those kind of coaches, like absolutely, like, and I can.
And I think
definitely see
Vrabel's tough
guys
to
like
play
him, but-
for.
Yeah.
We have the address for people who want to participate in the weekly picks on the app Boston Cream has created. Here it is. You're going to have to write it down. tinyurl.com. So tinyurl.com/Patriots Unfiltered. Pretty simple. tinyurl.com/Patriots Unfiltered. So download that or go to it, however you want to do it. And you can put your picks in. And after every week, we'll say who is doing well from the week before. And
you can flex on us when you
I
do
don't
this
want to
every
hear
week.
it. I don't want to hear it if your picks are better than mine.
Mike's
okay?
going to
So
have a
just
good year
save
this
it.
year. I can feel it. Mike's going to have
I'm
a
gonna do
feel
some
for the
studying.
league.
I'm going to study the tape. I'm going to grind the tape a little more.
Grind.
The rest of the
Grind.
NFL. Grind it.
Um, yeah, exactly.
So gonna come in hot.
I know they had practice the other day,
Yeah,
and they
nothing's
were
been
out there for
posted
about
yet,
20
but-
minutes.
Yeah.
So
Right, well, they
1:30
made
to
him wait.
1:50. So if it's 1:30, it's only
It
1:50.
started at 1:30.
Yeah.
And
Mike just went to the locker room for a little while, and then he came in here.
I know.
Practice.
I know.
Their
They were
practice
getting ready to
window
go.
was scheduled to start at 1:30.
And Evan doesn't actually move that fast. So
No.
you know,
He is sort of like a three-toed sloth, isn't
yeah,
he?
he kind of waddles around.
I
Dan-
was stunned today when Mike and I were in the bullpen chatting, and in walks Evan at like 9:30. I was like, whoa. Like, where's that
He's a
coming
late
from?
riser, that one.
Because he had a 10 a.m. catch-22 engagement.
That's right. Dan of Virginia and Michigan, just to keep the run of off-season nonsense subject going, even though it's Football Wednesday, Deuce just brought up the old songs being brought back as jingles for medications.
Yeah.
As a regular watcher of Jeopardy, I see
Yeah.
a steady string of commercials for medications. Even each of those medications has a name like a bad hand in Scrabble.
Right.
They all have 7 letters, 1 vowel, usually a high point value but difficult to use letter like K or Z. So it's so inconsistent that almost seems like an industry rule. We know PU Nation is an expert on anyone. Does anyone know the answer to this admittedly very niche question?
Why do drugs get the names that they
Yeah,
get?
you never.
Is that the question?
I guess so. Yeah.
Wegovy.
Well, I think they have to come up with a word that's never been used before.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, you know?
mean, are there people out there though who are like, I got moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, and this pill looks like it might help what I have. I'm gonna go ask my doctor about it, because isn't that what these whole ads are for? You're trying to target people with these conditions to go to their
absolutely.
doctor.
To go to the
have you
doctor.
ever like gone to your doctor and been like, so tell me about Wegovy? Like,
Yeah.
what's up with this? Like, can you help me?
Right.
Like,
Well,
shouldn't the doctor
so
like
I don't
identify
know,
what it is?
I don't
and tell
know
you
which
what
one it is, but this is an interesting thing that happened over the last couple of years. It's one of these pharmaceutical things, and they had this really, really catchy theme song. So catchy, in fact, that people sued them, and they had to change the song like enough so that it didn't sound like the one before. Same words, everything, but it was just changed enough so I guess it wasn't as catchy. And I forget that you can Google it.
Right. So people are like, I don't even have plaque psoriasis, but I want to get on
I just
Wegovy.
want to get
wanna
on
try
that.
it. It just looks like they're living a great life, and I want that life.
Yeah.
This is Matt Morrell handing me something. Drug names must be unique and distinguishable from other medications to avoid confusion and potential medical errors.
Okay, we don't. We don't.
You don't want to hear about the marketing
no.
considerations?
Let's get back to a little football. Steve writes in, why do people get upset with Drake May for improvising and practicing his improvisational skills during play? But no one seems to care.
Who gets upset at that?
But no one seems to care when people like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes do it.
Who gets upset at it?
I don't know. I understand that those folks are more developed in the league, but you don't get there by not trying. No one huffed and puffed when Patrick Mahomes would try again and again during college.
I just don't.
I think
Talk
it's
about
the opposite.
arguing against yourself.
I think fans want him to do it more.
Yeah. Who is he arguing with?
Yeah.
Drake May's greatest strength is his mobility and his ability to make plays off platform. That's his best asset.
Launch the ball down the field.
We're trying to figure out a way to avoid the mistakes when doing so.
Yeah. Or run
Much
or getting
like,
to it too
by the
quick.
way, I know that the email says the opposite. Josh Allen dealt with constantly early in his career, right?
Right.
Is this guy ever going to get it? He's always throwing into triple coverage. He thinks he could do everything. He's Superman out there. Like,
yeah.
Right. Right.
Then all of a sudden you tone down the mistakes, but yet you're still making the plays and you become a star. Yeah. That's what you got to do. But I don't think anybody criticizes Drake May because he can run.
No. I just, you want to make sure he's doing it within the structure of the offense and not
Right.
just tucking and running the
All right, don't change hands with the ball as you're getting sacked and fumble.
Yeah.
So that's what he got criticized for, not that he tried to scramble out of the pocket.
We didn't want to step on Evan's toes, but since he's probably not going to make it, what do we know from practice from the X?
There's been nothing yet.
Oh,
It's
really?
Complete radio silence from the entire media brigade right now.
Wow.
So, I did see.
Here he is.
Here we go.
The devil.
Look at this.
Just a few minutes left. He's going to have to hurry.
Probably not even enough time to play his song.
Wow.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned
shot.
from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there?
And make it quick.
Evan, why the delay? First off.
There's no delay. This is the timing. So.
Well, how long did practice go for?
Well, we were got out there about 1:45.
Oh, 1:45.
Yeah, because until they actually let the scribes into the practice.
Hence the delay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But no real surprises. Christian Gonzalez, the only player not spotted at practice as.
So he wasn't even there on the side?
Not yet. We did see him in the locker room. He was walking around the locker room. So I would assume that he probably will get out there eventually and to observe, but not dressed for practice, not participating.
Okay. So what else have we got?
That's it. Honestly, it's pretty.
It's a lot of anticipation for just that.
That's all I got.
We're building it up. I'm not gonna lie.
You made something up at least.
It was pretty mundane.
Yeah.
We did get. It was very nice out today. Very great weather, and so some people were saying, we'll see who's still here when it's snowing and raining in December and January.
By some people, you mean you?
And I was like, we'll still be here.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, don't worry about that.
Was it a large contingent?
It was a large contingent.
Well, they're giving Chick-fil-A out.
They're giving Chick-fil-A, Drake, and Stephon Diggs after practice, and Mike Vrabel talking this morning. So a lot of press, a lot of media.
Big day here in Foxborough.
People excited?
People are excited.
Is there a buzz?
There's a buzz. I think people
Tangible
are ready
buzz?
to actually
Buzz is palpable.
discuss a real football game and stop talking about hypotheticals.
You wouldn't have liked the
ifs,
last 40 minutes then.
Whats and buts and all that stuff. I think we're ready to get to the actual games.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
There's excitement.
I am looking forward to having a game to discuss next week. The game that was actually played that counts.
Right.
100%.
All right. Well, I'm supposed to read this last one. Let's hear it for the team. Bob's Discount Furniture just opened its 200th store, and you can join in on the celebration. Make your way to your nearest store to shop the latest styles like the Phantom Power reclining sofa made for kicking back on game day, the Elm dining set made with real marble that's sure to impress the home team, and the stylish Calvin bedroom designed to help you dream up your next tailgating party. Plus, you can enjoy free treats, limited edition stickers, and more surprises this Labor Day weekend. So stop in and check out the winning lineup at Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. And, of course, Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots. Well, Evan, we hope that in future coming back from practice. It's a
We have
little bit more
time. I know.
insightful, more information.
Work on that, will you?
Yeah.
I will work on it. It was
Okay. I know you had 2 hours with Barth and you're all X and O'd out. But,
2 hours with bars. We'll do that too.
All right. That's it for this edition. We're back tomorrow, our third show of the week.
Gotta hurry.
That's what we
Picks.
do all the time. So picks tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Hey, this is Evan. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure to like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.